Welcome to Finely Fettled, the podcast where cannabis meets conversation and maybe a little chaos.
We're your hosts,
Jackie
and Tori, here to keep it real about our cannabis journeys, share some laughs, and potentially even drop a little knowledge along the way.
We're all about making cannabis fun, approachable, and a bit less intimidating, whether you're a seasoned smoker or just kinda curious.
So sit back, spark up, and let's explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between.
Responsibly, of course. Let's get this sesh started.
Do not use cannabis if you're under the age of 21. Keep cannabis out of the reach of children. Please consume responsibly. What is up, everybody? Welcome back.
Hey guys,
It's another episode of Finely Fettled.
and we got our friend JP back with us.
What's going on? It's great to be back. Very excited to be here again.
Hi, welcome back.
Hi, JP. Everyone, you guys might remember him from episode 5, Fettled with the Pharmacist. If you guys didn't listen to that episode, definitely go back and listen to it. It was a really, really good one. A lot of great information in there. But yeah, I'm so excited to have you back today. Today we were going to go over some common myths, misconceptions, and just like different questions people may have about cannabis. So I'm excited to jump into it. Before we get started, Jackie, talk to us about what we consumed responsibly.
We had a On the Rocks Live Rosin Sour Apricot Apple Gummy from CTPharma.
Yeah, this is a new brand by CTPharma.
Yeah.
Relatively new one.
Yeah, delicious, but we also did have a little teensy grav bong hit of Golden Hour by Comffy, of course, because we just can't quit with that one.
I know, it's just so good.
Yeah.
The grab bong is really on the frontier of science for cannabis consuming, I have to say.
I love it. Wait, before we really jump into it, though, I have to say, you, on the last time you were here, said that you like to put the chili onion crunch on your ice cream, and I tried that, and it was the most amazing thing I've ever had.
It's a true game changer. It is. It's awesome.
Incredible.
It's an extremely versatile oil, I guess, that you can that you can apply to like a number of things, but you got to choose wisely with the ice cream choice.
Yeah,
I mean,
I just did a solid vanilla.
Yeah, vanilla is fine, but if you're going like sherbet, that's I don't
interesting.
know. You might be in for a bad time. Depends on how finely fettled you are, though. I don't know. You might enjoy.
Very true. Okay, well, speaking of that, why don't we get started? JP, tell us, why do we get the munchies when you use cannabis?
All right, yeah. So the munchies are probably anyone that's consumed cannabis before could probably speak on the fact that they've craved some food, maybe some chili onion crunch on some vanilla ice cream after, smoking or just consuming cannabis. But last time I was here, I talked a lot about the endocannabinoid system. If you were actively listening, where do we have these cannabinoid receptors in our body? Where are they?
Our liver?
In your brain. And your nervous system. Don't put that on.
So
all over your body.
Exactly. Throughout our body. And we do find that there are...
I didn't know we were having a pop quiz.
Yeah. I'm fettled, guys.
Hey, I was just trying to see if you were listening, and it sounds like one of you was. But yes, we do. We have these cannabinoid receptors all throughout our body, and we find that there's a lot of these receptors in our gut. So cannabis stimulates appetite in a way by directly acting on those receptors within our gut. So, our GI system has a lot of CB1 receptors and CB2 receptors, and these cannabinoids interact with it in a way that stimulates our appetite. That's why when I'm counseling a patient possibly with cancer that's looking to increase their appetite, I mean, it's been known for a while that patients that are, suffering from cancer or possibly other wasting diseases, to introduce some form of cannabis, into their therapy to help them eat, which, is great for folks that are on cancer therapies that don't really have a great appetite, or just for the avid cannabis connoisseur that, feels it after they smoke that, hey, I'm hungry, I need to eat something, and that's where the Funyuns come in.
Okay.
For me, at least. I'm a big snacks guy, like the salty snacks. Yeah.
Same. Honestly, same. All right. I got one.
Okay.
Will you get high if you just eat like a raw nug?
Wait, so just like raw
Just
weed?
straight
Just
from
flour,
the jar. Just
yeah.
pop it in your mouth like a Funyun.
No, but so there
Can you
are.
imagine?
I mean, people. I mean, we wouldn't have like brownies and stuff like that because people would just be eating raw weed. There's a few factors in play here that if it's just a raw nugget of weed, no. Marijuana in its raw form, right off of the plant, has very little THC in it. And you're thinking, what?
Yeah.
THC is what gets me high. How?
Right.
The weed that you know and love barely has any THC in it at all. The abundant cannabinoid found in weed nuggets or raw weed is actually THCA, or tetrahydrocannabolic acid. So it's in its acidic form. With cannabis, THC, CBD, other cannabinoids exist in this acidic form, which are specifically carboxylic acids. I'm going to try and keep it light on all of like the big science words, but this is important because you've heard of decarbing weed before.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're taking that carbon group out. So when
can you just for a second explain what decarbing is for the listeners?
Oh yeah, exactly. So weed in its raw form has a lot of THCA in it. However, when we heat this cannabinoid or the cannabinoid acids, rather, like THCA, you give up one of the carbons. It's pretty much taken away from the structure of the THCA to just become THC. So that process is called decarboxylation, taking that carbon group out. Now, decarboxylation makes the newly converted THC, which we know and love, way more bioavailable, meaning that the decarboxylated THC can be ingested orally. So we would have to decarb that nug to make it, edible in a sense. So THC itself.
So that's why when you're making edibles, you have to put the flour in the oven for a little while to decarb it, so it converts it. Exactly.
Yeah, that heat is going to be a catalyst for this chemical reaction. So yeah, THCA itself, doesn't have any psychoactive properties. So if you eat just the carboxylated weed, it's going to have no effect in getting you high. So that being said, THCA does have some benefits, but it won't make you high by itself. Yeah. There's some other steps to be taken once you consume something that is decarboxylated, though. That's why when we eat edibles, it takes a longer time. It takes, it needs to be digested, metabolized by your liver. The liver, like you brought up, you see?
Did we talk about a liver last time? Maybe.
We may have.
Something.
Yeah. It's all, we're bringing it back.
Yeah.
So we have to take that newly activated THC that doesn't have the carboxylic acid on it, and it needs to be further metabolized by your gut and then your liver, and then it becomes its activated form, goes into your bloodstream that way. So no, if you eat a raw nugget, you might just have a bad taste in your mouth. In more ways than one.
I remember, when I was younger, I definitely, contemplated it with my friends. I think we'll get high if we just eat it.
Right, just try it.
Yeah.
Well, there is, like you were saying, it's like putting the weed in the oven to decarb it. Mm-hmm. One of, the really early memories I have from one of my friends, what he did is he took, a graham cracker and put it in a toaster oven, and he made a firecracker. Yeah, he put fluff on the other side.
Yes.
And made a firecracker s'more.
I haven't had a firecracker in a while.
Yeah, it's a very, very primal, very low. Oh my god, what do we do with this? Well, I know that we can't smoke it,
right?
It's gonna reek in here. Yeah, it still actually kind of smells
it still
when
does.
you do it.
Yeah, it still does. That's so funny. Okay, well, speaking of, early day, urban legends, is it true that you will get more high if you hold the smoke in? Or / if you cough a lot, that means you're going to get higher?
So, zeroing a hit.
Is that what it's called?
No, you've never heard that before?
No.
When you... Okay, so this is going way back too. Like, you're in a circle with your buddies, and when you zero the hit, you inhale, and you don't blow any smoke out. When the joint or whatever gets back to you, you don't exhale.
I didn't know that's what it was called.
I didn't know
but
that's what it was
definitely
called
was
either.
a thing also for my circles.
Yes.
Yeah, no effect. It won't.
Okay.
No effect.
Yeah. Virtually none. So
What a silly thing.
yeah,
It's just because you're not breathing, probably, that you feel lightheaded, right?
that's exactly it. Yeah, yeah. So you're cutting off some of the oxygen that is going to your brain, coupled with the fact that you are inhaling weed. So you get the lightheadedness, not only maybe from the weed, if you've really
That's really fun.
never smoked before, and if there are individuals that are doing that, I'm assuming that they're newer to weed, that they experience the high and that lightheadedness. So when we smoke or inhale cannabis, those effects are almost instantaneous. That's why it's so popular to smoke.
Yeah.
Like we were saying before with edibles, it takes a little bit of time. Smoking, a couple of minutes, you're feeling it. And that's really why smoking is so popular. The reason why it's so quick is due to gas exchanges that's going on inside of our lungs when we inhale. So in our lungs, we have, going back to science class, alveoli, which are tiny little air sacs in our lungs where blood and oxygen are exchanged. That's how we breathe. We exchange oxygen for carbon dioxide. One goes out, one goes into the lungs. So it's seen that in, like people with COPD, for example, have like really damaged alveoli, those tiny little air sacs in our lungs, which make it, difficult for them to breathe, make it difficult for that gas exchange. So THC, which we know as that psychoactive cannabinoid, the most famous one in cannabis, has to enter our bloodstream to have that psychoactive effect. When we inhale it, there is that exchange. It goes with the oxygen that we're inhaling, and it goes through our alveoli and then into our bloodstream. There was actually like a study done in the 80s, early 90s, where scientists gathered up a group of cannabis smokers and tested the effects of inhaling weed at different variables. So like 0 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds of holding it in. They found that there was really no difference in the effects of feeling quote-unquote higher. So, that being said, you do have to inhale the smoke to feel the effects of the THC, but the duration really is not a big deal. Now, there are some other factors in play. What's the potency of the cannabis that we're inhaling? Right? How much of it are we inhaling? You could do, a tiny little fleck of a leaf. You're not really going to get a lot of THC. That was converted from THCA. Remember, we're bringing it back. So the data suggests that holding in smoke doesn't really have an effect on how high you're going to feel, but that, how much are you consuming? What's the potency of what you're consuming? That's what's going to have, like, the greater effect. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that when you cough a lot, it helps it get into your bloodstream faster?
No, that's... No, in theory, no, it really doesn't. And we're going back to that you're getting less oxygen when you're coughing, and there could also be that effect that you feel, a little lightheaded, difference in blood pressure at that point. Coughing is just a natural response that our lungs have to inhaling something foreign. So when the lung tissue is irritated, you get that coughing response.
I don't understand why it's still foreign. It's like have you guys ever coughed so hard your brain like jiggles inside your head? Like,
that might be.
You know what I mean?
That might be an effect of the golden hour that you grab bombed.
I mean, I've never felt that before. I was just wondering. I read about it somewhere.
I read about it in a book about it.
Yeah, my friend told me.
Yeah, when we're inhaling foreign substances into our lungs, that can cause irritation, which could cause coughing. For an inexperienced smoker that's never inhaled something, they may cough coupled with the fact that they're getting high for the first couple of times, you feel higher than everyone else around you that may be an experienced user. So I think there's a couple of factors in play here. You're coughing when you first start out smoking because you have baby lungs, right?
Yeah.
You've never really inhaled these irritants. So you're coughing and you're getting blasted because you're smoking for the first time. So I think there's like, for the inexperienced user, they may think or perceive that they are getting higher than they actually are.
Yeah.
But it really doesn't have any effect.
Okay.
Wow. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Or second.
Or second.
That makes a lot of sense, though. You literally just don't have oxygen.
Yeah. For those experiences, when you're coughing or holding in your hit, you are kind of depriving your brain of more oxygen. So, yeah, that can certainly make you feel like you are higher, or dizzy, or woozy, or
Right.
right.
Okay. This one is a funny one.
Okay.
Is it true that if the ash is white, it means the quality of the flower is better?
So that's another multifactorial thing. There's a lot of factors there.
I really believed this was true.
So,
Like, really. Like, I'm like, look at that white ash.
well, I mean,
Golden Hour has a nice white ash.
it could be indicative of other things. So it could be indicative of a better smoking experience because just at its root, at its base, there's no evidence to support that just white ash alone it means better weed when compared to like darker or black ash. There is the notion that I've read about where white ash means that the weed is flushed of pesticides during like the pre-harvest process. But I think it has to do more with how your cannabis is broken down or grinded and eventually rolled and
Really?
prepared, then smoked. Yeah, so
Interesting.
if you don't properly break down your nugget, make it all even pieces, it limits the surface area of the cannabis.
Okay.
So we understand the concept of surface area, right?
Yes.
No. Okay, so when
Are you mansplaining right now?
I'm scientifically explaining.
Oh, my.
Okay, so when I first started taking biology classes, I didn't like fully grasp the idea of surface area. Right? So you take a nugget.
Yep.
If you just look at your fist.
Right.
Right. On the outside is all the surface area that is available for that. When you break it down, so open up your fist, much more surface area between your fingers. The same thing with cannabis. You have a nug, you break it down, you've created all of these little tiny pieces, which increases the surface area.
Thank you for explaining that to us, JP.
It was a difficult concept for me to grasp when I was younger and
I think it's
naive.
a nice analogy with the hand.
Yeah, it makes it easier to conceptualize. You guys are laughing, but it makes it easier to conceptualize the like white ash theory. So if you have a more even smoke, more parts are going to be burned. There's not going to be, a big nug that is only getting partially burned. You're burning basically every little piece of the weed.
Wow, so it really doesn't have anything to do with the flour. It's just how you grind it up.
Probably the quality of the rolling, also the temperature. So the temperature of the burn itself also has to do with like how much cannabis flower has access to the flame. So how much heat in terms of fire and oxygen are available to like the cannabis plant. When you just have a big nug, it's not getting oxygen and fire all over, the whole entire surface. But when you increase that surface area, you really are allowing for that even burn and for all of it to burn, really.
So do you feel like it's better to like grind up your weed with a grinder than to like hand?
Yeah, I mean, in a pinch, if you need to, by all means. I mean, you're still going to be consuming that THC into your lungs and having it go into your bloodstream. But if you really want to have a quality experience, I would recommend using a grinder because you're getting all equal pieces. And remember, going back to the white ash, everything that is an organic compound on the earth, including us, is made of carbon. When you burn carbon, like fully burn carbon, all that's left is going to be white ash. So when you have like the black ash, it wasn't really fully burned. Like the whole product wasn't fully burned. So no, white ash doesn't necessarily mean better weed, but it means a better quality of preparation, I would say.
Interesting.
Okay.
Sorry, I mansplained surface area, but for our listeners at home, I wanted them to visualize it, and that's why I used that analogy.
I'm a visual learner, so that was nice.
If I could paint a picture with my words, maybe I'd be a musical artist. I don't know.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break because we have to show some love to one of our newest favorite brands out there, Comffy.
Yes, if you're looking for flower or pre-rolls that are consistent, fresh, and just feel right, Comffy is it.
Everything is cultivated right here in Connecticut at Finely Fettled's brand new production facility in Bloomfield. And fun fact, it's actually the first facility in the state built under the social equity cannabis regulations. So not only is the quality top tier, but it's supporting real impact too.
Each plant is grown with care under ideal conditions, which means you're getting the best terpenes, potency, and flavor every time. Consistent, fresh, and grown with care for your comfort. Comffy has what you need to feel good no matter the vibe.
So go down to finelyfettled.com and get Comffy. You deserve it. All right. I have heard from a few people who say they take CBD and they do feel high. Can that happen or not?
So CBD doesn't have psychoactive properties. So I wouldn't say that it would make someone feel high. That being said, when I do recommend CBD to patients that maybe are cannabis naive, haven't tried cannabis before, I will, tell them that CBD could kind of smooth out those rough edges of the day. I think I said that last time I was on the podcast. It won't make you high, though. When you couple THC with CBD, you could have better effects for like pain relief and things like that. But scientifically, CBD doesn't have those psychoactive properties. That's why there's CBD, like the CBD store and stuff could be sold. It doesn't have those psychoactive effects.
Right. I feel like for some of those customers that I've heard that from, it's like that is just your body relaxing,
Right. Yeah, you're still tapping those receptors that are in our body that could help with anxiety, stress relief, things like that. But in and of itself, CBD alone is not going to make you high. But for some people that are really stressed out, maybe feeling relaxed does feel like, and there are a lot of people that are pretty tightly wound, so it possibly could help with that.
Yeah.
But it won't make you feel high like just THC will.
Right.
Okay. Is it true that cannabis stays in your system for 30 days?
As with everything with science, like I've said for the last couple of questions, there's a lot of factors that play into this, right?
What if I drink a lot of cranberry juice?
All right, let's break it down before this. Let me answer the question. Does cannabis really stay in your system for 30 days? Mm-hmm. It can.
Okay.
But there's a lot of factors in play, like I said. So THC, getting science-y again, is lipophilic, meaning it is fat, or lipid, meaning fat-loving. That also means that it is fat-soluble. So it dissolves in fat. The THC structure itself is a fatty molecule. So it dissolves in fat. Remember, in science, and I'm saying remember like I've taught a course or something, but in science, products dissolve in like products, which is known as the solubility principle. You don't need to remember that. It's just flexing my science muscles. So compounds, they tend to dissolve in things that are similar to itself. So when we consume cannabis, those THC molecules and their metabolites, or what the THC breaks down to in our body, which the metabolites are what come up on a drug test. Because I figure that's what this question is geared towards, is does it last, in your system for 30 days if you have a drug test coming up? So those metabolites are what's going to show up in a drug test. The THC metabolites, they dissolve and deposit or hang out in our fat cells after they're consumed. Our fat cells, and our fat tissue really doesn't have a lot of blood flow going to that area compared to other tissues in our body, like our respiratory tissue and things that really need blood to work, because blood carries oxygen. So the metabolites of THC don't really get readily circulated throughout our bloodstream after they've been consumed and deposited like in our fat tissue. So to be excreted from our body, those metabolites have to be circulated in our blood, then make their way to our kidneys where they're excreted. That's why we do a pee test for a drug test, because those metabolites are going to appear there once they've made their way out of our fat cells and into our bloodstream. So since our fat cells, they don't have great access to our blood, those metabolites that will show up in a drug test, they make their way out of, our fat very slowly. So that's where the 30 days, comes into play. It's really like a time thing to, how long are these THC products going to come out of our fat cells and be fully excreted from our body. The process for someone that consumes a lot of cannabis frequently could be up to 30 days. That being said, there's some things to mitigate this. If someone smokes a lot and they realize that they have to have a drug test in less than 30 days, you can, one, stop consuming cannabis to not reintroduce more, THC or THC metabolites into our body. And then...
That would probably help.
Yeah. And then,
Step one.
And then a lot of people, say working out, because you're burning off fat cells. If you get rid of what is holding all of these metabolites in our body, if you get rid of it, you kind of get rid of the THC too. So you don't really sweat the weed out or the THC, but when you eliminate some of the fat cells through, weight loss or through cutting some fat, you are also eliminating some of those metabolites. And then hydrating, like drinking a lot. So you said drink cranberry juice. The cranberry juice itself, cranberries contain antioxidants, but I don't know how much that weighs into...
Okay. I feel like that's always been a thing, though.
Yeah,
people drink cranberry juice,
forever.
right?
Yeah, but, if you drink
it's one of the myths.
But if you drink a lot of anything, you're going to pee.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but why do you think people have always said cranberry juice?
I don't know. That might just be another myth, like people that drink a lot of cranberry juice for UTIs. Really, you just need to drink a lot of something to flush yourself out. So when you introduce a lot of fluids, whether it be cranberry juice or water, you are kind of, quote unquote, flushing your system by, you're just
interesting. So it truly does nothing.
What? The cranberry juice? Personally, I don't think it does, but what do I know? I'm just a pharmacist. But there are kits, know, and what those detox kits do, some of them use, like charcoal or other things that kind of bind to the metabolites that are not all the metabolites, but for, a certain window can kind of flush your system, won't allow any of your fat cells to... It doesn't give your fat cells enough time to excrete more, so that's why you have like a 2-day window, like something like that, because you're kind of flushing your system of that. Right. But that I don't know. There's so many different detox kits that use different things. So if you are planning on taking a drug test, I think the best thing to do is, like we were saying before, stop consuming if you can. Yeah. Work out moderately and drink a lot of water. Yeah. And then you could always buy a test at home and see how how that plays out. Everyone's body is different, right? We're all made up of different amounts of adipose tissue, so it's going to be different for everyone how long THC is going to stay in your system.
And what about secondhand smoke? Can you fail a drug test from? And can you get high from secondhand smoke?
So what was that? What have I been saying?
Everybody's different, and there's a lot of factors.
There are a lot of. So short answer, no, not really, but there are several factors involved, right? So how long are you exposed to this secondhand weed smoke? All right, are you in a poorly ventilated room or car?
Hotboxing.
If you're hotboxing or clam baking, what is it? Hotboxing or clam baking?
I say hotbox.
Hotbox.
No, I've heard both.
You're right. Clam baking is a real thing, too.
It definitely is.
I'm getting some nodding heads. Okay, yeah. So if you're hotboxing or clam baking an area...
I can't even remember now.
What?
what I would say. Sorry.
No,
Proceed.
it's one of those like second nature things. When you start breaking it down, you're like, what is a word?
Right.
You say it enough times, it kind of loses
That
its
happened
meaning.
to us with Myrcene.
Yeah.
It could-
Oh, guys.
So, if you're hotboxing an area and you're not involved in the actual act of smoking, more than likely you're going to be exposed to secondhand smoke for the length of that smoke session. Unless, of course, if you leave that area and break the seal, but I'm pretty sure that's a pretty big party foul, especially if the goal is to hotbox or clam bake a car.
Yeah.
And if you're clam baking in that area and there's not great ventilation, that will increase the amount of smoke that you're inhaling, even if you're not actively smoking.
Right.
But if you are just walking by someone on the street and you smell weed, or even walk through like a little cloud of smoke, that won't be a major factor in you failing a drug test.
What if you're in like a living room?
Yeah.
Is that enough ventilation to not get the secondhand smoke?
I think it has to do with contact high.
Yeah.
So if you actually feel high from the experience and you're not part of that session, like actively smoking, then there is the possibility that you can, you know, get that THC into your system and possibly fail a drug test. But if you're not an active smoker, right, you're not smoking all the time, you just happen to be there at a party, you're cool with it, but like, you know, you do possibly get high. Those metabolites should be excreted from your body in a pretty quick amount of time compared to someone that smokes all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's similar to the contact high. I would say if you are feeling high, you could get high off of secondhand smoke. Right?
If you're high, then you're high.
If you're high, you're high at the end of the day.
You're high, you're high.
just like Michael Scott at the Alicia Keys concert. Someone passed around a funny cigarette, and I felt a little weird.
Okay.
Oh.
Wow, look at that in unison. You guys are so in sync.
I know.
You really work well together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's like you guys finish each other's
sentences.
Wow.
Last night I watched the episode of How I Met Your Mother where have you guys seen that show?
I have seen
love that show.
episodes. I hadn't seen the whole thing.
I don't know, it's just an episode about woo girls. And I feel like I'm a woo girl sometimes. You know, like girls at the bar who are like, woo! About everything. Like their favorite song comes on, they're like, woo!
I mean,
they take a shot, they're like, woo! Like everything is, woo! I feel like that's me and Tori.
I mean,
I know a little bit.
If
Yeah.
I'm
Woo! Girl!
if I'm feeling myself, I'm also a woo girl.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
definitely. Woo girls, for sure.
How can I not? In good company?
Yeah.
Feeling finely fettled?
Yes.
Yeah. Whoa.
Woo!
Just to let you guys know, I am not currently fettled, but I feel it.
Yeah.
The vibe and the atmosphere in here is amazing.
Shout out Golden Hour by
Yeah.
Comffy.
Yes. Okay. That was a little sidebar. Does cannabis kill brain cells?
Does cannabis kill brain cells?
Yeah, that's a common.
Well, okay, so
Belief.
while cannabis does not actively kill brain cells like alcohol does,
Right.
Researchers have voiced some concerns in the effects on the brain, and that's more so long-term effects with the use of cannabis. Short-term, cannabis can impair things like cognitive function, you know, our attention, our memory, things like that, but it doesn't actively kill our brain cells. Like when you smoke a joint, you might feel like it has, but it does not actively do so. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, there's some evidence, like I said, to suggest that there's mild cognitive impairment with chronic users. But for chronic users that may be quote-unquote high frequently, they may just be experiencing that lack of attention, that memory loss, that that immediate memory loss, and delays in reaction time, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
One important thing, though, because there are a lot of endocannabinoid receptors in our brain. Depending on, you know, the cannabinoids that you consume, they could actually be like neuroprotective and like helping your brain. So yeah, it's kind of a funny way of looking at it. You know, when you're tapping those receptors, it could actually be helpful.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I like to think so.
There's more science, I feel like, that needs to go into it.
Yes.
Yeah. We need more research, guys. We need more money dedicated to understanding everything that has to do with cannabis, because there's really not. There's not a lot of actual, you know, long studies that could give us some conclusive evidence. A lot of it is anecdotal. A lot of it is experiences that we've had that we can attribute to one thing or another. That's why, you know, the coughing makes you higher. It's like, oh, well, yeah, when I first started smoking out, of course, I was coughing so much and I was just higher. It's just, I don't know. We just need more research for some definitive evidence. Yeah.
Right. So would you say that cannabis cures cancer?
Cures cancer. So, another thing that requires more studies, in vitro, so not actual human studies, there has been signs that, you know, THC and other cannabinoids could actually destroy a cancer cell. Do we see it in our bodies? It's really hard to gauge, because individuals that already have cancer are usually on already a cancer therapy, and sometimes they will couple their cancer therapy with high-dose THC, like RSO, Rick Simpson oil. Rick Simpson was a cannabis connoisseur, cannabis enthusiast that designed this really potent product that he consumed that he said cured his cancer. Now, do we know if it's the actual cancer therapy that's doing it? Are we feeling more relaxed and just better? Are we increasing our appetite, and that's what's allowing us to, you know, heal better when we couple that cancer therapy with the high-dose THC? Hard to know. We need, you know, full trial studies to be able to assess that. I won't say that it's hurtful, you know, consuming RSO. I've counseled multiple cancer patients that were on RSO that went into remission, and they have RSO to thank. That being said, they're still, you know, taking the conventional cancer therapies. I don't know if the funding would be made available for something like that, because, you know, oncology in itself knows therapies that work, you know, like medical therapies that work for cancer patients. Yeah. But if you are having difficulty eating, if you are very stressed about your cancer treatment, if you're in pain, because cancer treatment itself can be painful. I mean, you are subjecting your body to medications that don't make your body feel good. So if you couple that with high-dose THC and it's helpful, you know, whatever's going to make a patient feel more comfortable, you know, and if they, you know, find solace in the fact that, you know, RSO really helped them through it, then power to that. But we need more studies, yeah, from a science viewpoint.
So what would you say about people who believe you can overdose on cannabis or be addicted to it?
Or it's the gateway drug to other hard drugs.
Okay, so can you overdose? Let's start there. Do you mean like fatally overdose?
Yes, like
you
die.
Consume too much that you die?
Yes.
There's no reported cases of someone dying from just consuming cannabis alone. I think that was one of the things that, like, you would say, like, as a, you know, younger, like, no one's ever died from it, man, you're going to be fine. Like when you're having a freak out.
Yes. Yes, you're so right.
Or when you're greening out, right?
Yeah.
So I guess you're
zeroing out, greening out, all these new terms.
Oh, you've never heard green out?
No.
No?
No.
Have you heard?
No.
Listeners,
how old are you?
31.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, greening out is a thing. I'm getting some nodding heads in the studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
This can happen really for anyone that consumes, right?
Okay.
We have an amount or a milligram of THC that our body and we are comfortable with. Like,
yeah,
when you overload those receptors in your body, you can feel, you know, paranoid, confused, anxious, stuff like that. So that's like the greening out. So some people will say, like, oh, I overdosed on weed. Like, you didn't overdose where it killed you, but in your body did not like the amount of weed
Yeah.
that you consume. So that's the greening out. So I guess in that sense, by the loose, term of the word overdose, yes, some people can overdose on weed.
Okay.
But it's a personal thing. It's, and then there's other factors in play there where I don't like this feeling. Now I'm more anxious.
Yeah.
My heart's racing,
Yeah.
So, for anyone that's consuming, I always recommend start low, go slow. That's the best thing that you could do. Get to an amount of THC that you feel comfortable with consuming. Because if you consume too much, you might have a bad time.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. After a while, though, once that dissipates, you're good.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I mean,
right.
everyone here has probably had a freak out, right?
A few.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not in a long time, but
And it happens for all the medicinal, and therapeutic properties that THC has. If you consume too much of it, just like anything, you could have a negative time. But once you're over that hump, you're
Yeah.
like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's like a weight is lifted off. You can enjoy your high. You can
Yes.
enjoy, some of the other therapeutic effects of the THC. But yeah, in it, you might say to yourself, did I just overdose on weed?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, so this is another one. Is cannabis addictive?
So, Reefer Madness taught us that cannabis is the gateway drug. It's highly addictive, all of this stuff. Physically addictive, no. Your body does not depend on, even if you're a heavy user, your body does not depend on THC to function. It could be like psychologically addictive, whereas, people that consume a lot experience withdrawals possibly from it, symptoms like irritability, but your body doesn't physically depend on cannabis, like some other physically addictive substances, like opioids or things like that. So you can be psychologically addictive, where it's just a part of your everyday routine. And with anything in life, when something we do every day, there's a little hiccup and we don't, it could cause some irritability and kind of mess with your psyche. But physically addictive, no.
Okay.
In like the psychology world, there is something called cannabis use disorder, which is recognized by,
I have heard of this.
Yeah. So,
and I have some questions about this, actually.
Okay.
So I feel like the symptoms of cannabis use disorder, which is like what? Like anxiety?
Irritability. Irritability is a big one.
I feel like couldn't it be true that the people with this disorder were using cannabis to treat those symptoms, so then once they stopped using the cannabis, those symptoms came back?
Yes. Yeah, that could definitely be it. A lot of individuals that are diagnosed with cannabis use disorder, which makes up like a fraction of the individuals that even chronically and heavily consume cannabis, have other underlying, factors like PTSD, depression, anxiety. Some individuals that are schizophrenic, they may be diagnosed with cannabis use disorder after they stop using it, because it brings back some of those, anxiety, irritability, depression, things like that. Not that THC is masking it, but there's other underlying factors that need to be also dealt with. So what we've found is that individuals that do have this can be categorized or diagnosed with this cannabis use disorder. But that being said, in and of itself, cannabis is not addictive, but some of these people may display some of those symptoms that, need to address some of the other factors that are involved in their life. Everyone is different, right?
Right. A lot of factors.
A lot
So
of
many
factors.
factors.
A lot of factors. That's what, science is at its core. You need to address look at everything from all angles. What else we got?
Just a couple more.
Okay.
So I feel like a lot of people think vaping is not bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's been the move for a lot of people, especially Gen Z. We're talking to you.
Yeah.
Listen up.
Okay. So are you saying that vaping is that the myth that vaping is not bad for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So compared to just smoking like raw?
Yeah, like I feel like people are like, I'm going to vape because it's
Vaping's
so
not
much
bad for
better.
you.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, I mean, there is a tiny breath of truth to that, in that when you consume raw cannabis, you're not just consuming the THC, right? You're consuming parts of the flower. If you are not getting it from a reputable place, you are possibly getting pesticides, molds, things like that. You're inhaling those products. When we get vaporized products, we are stripping that oil, that THC oil, from the plant itself. And a lot of people say that is THC in its purest form. And in some respects it is, like a rosin. So what is the difference between a rosin and a resin?
Rosin has no added anything.
Exactly. So rosin, with the O, no solvents. Yeah. So a solvent is something like a hydrocarbon, or even alcohol that's used to strip the THC product from the plant itself. When you are not using that, when you are creating a rosin, you are just using heat and pressure to get that pure THC. So a lot of people like using rosin vapes, one, because they think, this is a very pure form of THC. Also, you're preserving a lot of the terpenes in there. You're not burning them off or stripping them off when you're taking the THC off of the flower. So in a way, it kind of isn't as bad for you, because you're still inhaling something foreign into your lungs, but you're not inhaling, the parts of the flower that are not just THC, the flower itself, any additives or anything that's not originally part of the plant, like a pesticide or molds or anything like that. So in a way, it can be better for you. A lot of people say that it's less harsh, because you're not inhaling massive plumes of smoke like you would, like when you're smoking from a joint or a bowl, right? So there could be benefits to that, someone that does have easily irritated lungs. On the flip side, it's really concentrated, right? Some upwards of 90% sometimes of the concentrated oils that we find in vapes, which is great for a quick hit, but for an individual that's never smoked before and hasn't really had that like introductory experience to weed, like a lot of people have, like just smoking weed out of a bowl that you bought at the gas station.
Right. Yeah.
You may not have a warped perception, but an idea of the weed smoking experience might be different, because all you're used to is this higher concentrated product. Right. So, and a lot of people, when you smoke a vape, you really only need one or two hits to kind of get you there. Some people overdo it, so that could be negative, or you could have a negative experience and quote-unquote green out from it.
Right. Very true.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
one last one.
Sure.
Okay.
Is it true that one puff of cannabis is going to turn you into a lazy hippie who just, like, melts into the couch like those old commercials?
Far out, man.
Far out, man.
This is my brain on weed.
Yes.
I don't know.
What happens?
You answer that question.
I don't think that's what happens.
I don't think so either. Cannabis is...
It is what you make it.
It really is what you make it. That's the best way to put it, right? Mm-hmm. Are you using it for therapy? Are you using it for recreational purposes?
Right.
At the end of the day, I mean, as long as you're doing it legally...
Right.
In a comfortable space. In a comfortable space.
Splice.
It is the splices. As long as you're consuming responsibly, and it is what you make it. Are you over consuming? If you are, it's okay. I mean,
YOLO.
Right. Well, everyone is different, right? We all have different responsibilities. We all have different things that we have to answer to, and
different strokes for different folks.
Exactly. Exactly, Binks. That's a callback. What movie?
Hocus Pocus.
Thank you.
Woo.
Thank you.
Woo, girl.
Great flick. No, I don't think one puff of cannabis will turn you into a lazy hippie.
Okay.
It might give you a better perspective on life, though.
It might turn your whole day around.
All right, JP, thank you so much. This has been so informative, honestly.
You redeemed yourself after the mansplaining.
I appreciate that. I don't even know if it could be categorized as mansplaining. But...
We did kind of invite him here to mansplain.
We'll see what your wife has to say about this after she listens.
I know, I saw your ring. I was like, when did you get married?
What do you mean?
Oh, I got married.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so married. You just
thought you were
He was married
When
last
was the
time he
wedding?
was here.
Were
you don't know her. She goes to a different school. She lives in Canada.
I thought you were just like engaged. I didn't know you actually got married.
Yeah.
Did I know this?
I got married last year.
Last
Congrats.
June.
Thank you.
June?
September.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. You hear that, honey? I'm just kidding. I love you.
Hey, Liz.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, JP.
Thank you, ladies. I had a great time.
Thank you.
Listeners, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you hear from me again.
Yes, write into us, guys, at podcast@finefettled.com. Follow us at finelyfettled.pod. Until next time, and as always,
Please consume responsibly.
thank you.
Peace.
Do not use cannabis if you are under the age of 21. Keep cannabis out of the reach of children. Please consume responsibly.